I hope there's not an echo. I'm just really. It's April 6th, it's 9:10 in the morning. I'm watching the Today Show, that's what you hear. Obviously, I always watch them. They're talking about everybody going back to normal. I've already said I don't understand. And too much of the time, I guess I know I say I all the time. That's because I am talking about me. I am talking about my experience. I'm not going to talk about somebody else's experience. People think that makes you egocentric. I'm not doing somebody else's channel. But for me, my situation is completely different than everyone else's. But when I think about the outside world and everybody going back, I just was in the shower and I was thinking to myself, again, did they really never have a plan? Because this sudden flip, trying to go back to normal, to me, it's sudden. Okay, I know everything took a whole year, but their decision to just go back and everything open, especially New York and places like that had completely shut down, this sudden decision to just open everything back up, to me, it's not just foolhardy. It also points to, says to me that they never knew what they were doing. I'm gonna pause this for a second. Because there are no Today Show just now, they were talking about the anxiety of going back to normal. Yeah, I think there's an anxiety. I now have this anxiety I didn't even have a couple weeks ago. Something in my brain this weekend just flipped, and I feel like I'm realizing, boom, time ran out on me, and where I thought I was gonna be cool about it or whatever, when the rubber hits the road, I am not ready for the road. I am not ready for anything anymore. But they're talking about it, and even they have the health experts on talking about people having anxiety about COVID. I'm like, because nobody knew. Nobody knew. They shut everybody down according to state. And then those of us who were watching the news people didn't even know. And the news people were doing stories like, oh, will people go back to work again? Will everybody be able to work from home? And I think a lot of people assumed that they would stay working from home. So like I said, it just seems like it's, maybe I'm wrong, but it seems like it's in the last couple weeks where they're suddenly talking about how everybody's going back to work in an office. And I think not most people, I think a lot of people had settled into this new normal that we thought was going to be the new normal. And then all of a sudden, the people in charge are like, oh no, we're going back to the old way. After everybody mentally adjusted, physically adjusted, tried to get used to the new life, the new way, and all of a sudden it's not the new way anymore. They want us to go back. And to me, originally thinking about that, when I first understood that they were suddenly doing this, I said to myself, that's because they finally realized about the economy. They finally realized that all those office buildings in the major cities can't stay empty, because of the economy, and that would break the economy. But I've been saying that from the beginning. And when I was complaining and saying, oh my God, are they dumb? This is so stupid. This is going to ruin this is going to ruin that. Even though I was griping and complaining from that kind of standpoint, like, what the hell are these people doing? Like, I was complaining and trying to alert them. I was trying to alert people deep down, or I guess I believed that they knew that they were purposely trying to break the economy. That the whole reason for their reactions to the pandemic, the reasons for the lockdowns, was to ruin people on purpose. I did not think that they were just making mistakes, that they just were being dumb. I was calling them dumb, and I was saying, what the hell are they doing? Because I was angry about it. that they were doing this to us. But I never thought all these different politicians and all these different people were making honest to God mistakes. At the most, I thought they were dumb and they were just doing what they were told by somebody else who was controlling them. But if that was the case, those people would still be controlling them. So I don't I can't, when you become a different person, when you go through things, right? When you're a little kid and you find out there's no Santa Claus, nobody can go and make you believe that again, okay? When you grow up, when you mature, when you move on in life, when you experience things and you process them, you can't go back. So now we have people, and they're talking about the anxieties of going back. Again, this is another mistake. If we can't go back, I know I can't. I'm not, like, I've been rapidly changing, and in 2021, I feel like I've changed as a person 5 times. Not in the same, periodic amount, like not every month or every. I really feel like I've changed, like as things happened and I went through things and I processed things and I threw my mental fits and that I changed mentally to being a certain way. I feel very much older. I feel like I'm 90. I don't feel like I'm my age. I've never really been my age. I always was older because I was me and my mom and she was an older mom. So I always didn't really act like people my age. But now, being alone, going through all this, everything I've been through, in the beginnings I was complaining they were going to shut down movies, they were going to shut down theaters, and it was going to make me so sad, even trying to hope for a life, like if I hoped that I would have a future, to have a future without that, it was upsetting to me. But I processed all that and I accepted it. And with all the money in the world, I don't see me going back. It's like if I won a bunch of money tomorrow and I could just live whatever life I wanted, I don't see me doing the things I had always wanted to do. I processed that was never going to happen already. And I said, that's it, and I was just trying to figure out how to survive the day. And I've been living day to day, and most of us have, except for the people, like reporters. The thing with reporters is, from very early on, they did a little bit of social distancing, they did a little bit of staying home, like maybe a month or two in the very beginning. But after that, they've been semi back to normal, getting up and going to work, doing their hair, doing the things everybody else didn't have to do for a long, long time. The rest of us have still been, for a year or more, the people who stayed home or forced to stay home were impacted. Whatever life, however we did things before, we've been forced to not do it that way for a year. And now we're supposed to pick back up again and be the person we were because suddenly government decided? I don't think we can. I think a lot of us can't. It's not anxiety about going back. I don't think we can. I think we've been through a worldwide mental catastrophe. We've gone through a worldwide year-long trauma. Not a car crash that happened in an instant and we had to recover for that for years. We collectively went through a year-long trauma. And we coped and we adjusted the ways that we had to because we had no choice. We all did what we had to do to make it through the day. I actually think that just making it through this as a human to this point has been like a Herculean effort. Everybody should get a cookie for that. Everybody should get, want to call it a participation award, whatever. We all participated. It's something horrifying. Our lives were upended. We, I did not personally, but a lot of people lost people. A lot of us lost hope, and we lost futures, and I think for a lot of people like myself, the hammer is still coming, and it's coming soon, and the results of what the lockdowns did financially and practically are going to be like a nuclear bomb that hits, that maybe the people in government think they have staved off. But once all these moratoriums end, and I've been saying this for a long time, they just extended the inevitable, which made it worse. The longer they extended things, the worse it was going to be. And it's not a matter of anxiety. What is actually going to happen to us? And I say us, my situation is different and outside the normal. So I don't really fit anywhere. That's the thing that makes me so odd. But a lot of people don't fit. But even the people that do fit into certain categories, I should only be thinking about myself. I've never been able to think about, I've always thought about the big picture, you know. So maybe I should have gone to school for political science and all that stuff, and I should have run for office, because I'm a big picture thinker. I am not a day-to-day thinker. That's why my life stinks. I have a very hard time thinking about myself and what I need in terms of what I need to do for me today to make my life better. I've never been somebody who thought like that. There are just people who think differently, and I always saw myself as part of the world. I never saw the world as my backdrop. You know what I mean? So even if things don't involve me, say, I was thinking the other day about when Notre Dame burned and how horrifying that was at the time, and it's such a distant memory now. But I was the kind of person who would be so upset by that and what it means for humankind and human history, and oh my God, I've never been there. Of course I would have liked to have gone there, but that's the kind of stuff that my mind goes to. It doesn't go to, oh well, why don't I make more money for myself? Why don't I do this and that? Why don't I improve my situation? Why don't I don't know why. And somebody could say, well, that makes me a jerk or a moron or whatever. It probably does. But it's just not how my brain is wired. My brain is wired to think about everything. And like I said, the big picture, the grand scheme. So that's probably why I can't help myself, let alone anybody else, which is stupid. But then again, maybe that's why the people in power don't end up doing what's right for people, because they were the ones thinking of themselves. And that's what got them to that position. And without thinking about yourself all the time, you can never get to that position. I don't know. But I do know that I really need a miracle now. I really need something magical to happen right away, because too much was hidden from me. Too many things I couldn't plan for. I didn't know what was going on. I mean, even with stuff like fuel assistance and stuff like that, I couldn't contact. I mean, you couldn't get in touch with people. You had to just accept that the situation was, what's the word? Nebulous. Not knowing what the hell's going to happen tomorrow. And we've been living like that. And now all of a sudden it's like, okay, you have to, I don't know, run with everybody else to keep up with the Joneses now. That's how? Because now a lot of us I know they don't believe it. I know they believe that extending unemployment and doing these things, they're always thinking about these people who fit into um, a group or a situation, and they're not thinking about the outliers. And I guess I felt as though a lot of this was about making everybody be in the system. But I don't think they realize how many people, their lives or their livelihoods or their situation depended on doing stuff that was outside the system. And we can't go back because they've made it such that the only people who survived were the people who had their shit together from the beginning, or people who could check all the right boxes, because they want everybody in boxes, could check all the right boxes to get the right amount of funding. And I see them trying to give more money to things, and it's always, you got to apply for this, you got to apply for that. That means you have to fit into all the right categories. And those of us who don't fit into any categories, they're going to let us fall away. And I've known that, and I've been saying that, and I was hoping that something magical would happen for me. But I know that now, and I feel like it's knocking on the door. I feel like it's next week. And I'm just like, I don't know. I'm not a stupid person, but I've been surviving, but I don't actually know how to survive. I don't have that kill or be killed survival instinct, or do things that you find morally reprehensible so that you'll have security. And I'm not wired like that. I'm not saying I'm a wonderful person. I'm not saying I'm better than, I'm not saying I'm not trying to martyr myself. I'm just saying this is how you get here. This is how you end up. I mean, I think everything is going to blow up in my face. I hoped that it wouldn't. I hoped that something would happen. And the fact that the fact, once my mom died, the fact that I hung on even a month was shocking to me. So as everything was happening and I kept hanging on, I tried to get used to going with the flow and just, but now it's like you can't go with the flow anymore. I gotta now be the person I never ever was. I don't think I can do it. So I really can't believe they really have tried to just flick a switch or pull a lever and be like, okay, everybody back to normal. Because now they realize they should have never shut. I mean, the governors and the mayors and those kind of people who now suddenly want their cities jumping. Now suddenly want everybody to go back to work in an office. You know? And they've been making all of our decisions for this, and they shouldn't have. If they really didn't understand, if all the shit they've done was just honest to God mistakes because they're that stupid and they couldn't foresee what it was going to do to the economy, if they weren't actually trying to break the economy on purpose, I kind of can't believe it. I may put this up. I just saw that it's 19 minutes. 2 seconds ago it was 14 minutes. I think I'm going to put this up without fixing the audio. When it's too long, when it's more than 10 minutes and I have to fix the audio, I don't know if this goes for everybody. I think it's just me because I have a crappy little laptop. But it ends up taking me hours because the stupid thing to process it takes that long to just fix the audio so it's not like a half a second off. It stinks because I don't know if it takes that long for everybody else. Like I said, probably people with real computers, probably takes like 2 minutes, but for whatever, it takes a really long. The longer it is, the longer it takes. So I'm just gonna put this up now. I don't want to, like I said, to me this is like Notes from the Underground. This is me, like somebody on death row, writing their memoirs. So, you know what I mean? Um, I don't want to make people feel bad. I don't want to. I tended to be a different kind of person. I used to be the Pollyanna type, and that's probably also how I end up here. But um, I don't know why I keep feeling the need to do this. I don't know if some stupid part of me thinks it's going to help somebody else, or I'm just talking to the ether because, like I said, there's nobody to talk to. There's no conversation to be had. So, anyway.